where we will be having few methods here like make call, receive call, send SMS, receive SMS, and browse internet. But one problem we have seen with this approach is that problem code is repeated, and uh, there is no reusability of the methods now. So that's why we introduce inheritance, because one of the advantage of inheritance is code reusability. One of the advantage of inheritance is code reusability, meaning that what you can do is, in this situation, instead of rewriting the code again and again here, what you can do is you can use these methods into WLS, and these methods I can further use in broadband subscriber. The main advantage of inheritance is reusability of the code. Like I can also, a couple of other advantages, like they all becomes related classes, so you're grouping them, all the hierarchically related classes. Like in our case, like next example where we have taken dog, cat, and tiger, I can say that all of them are having a relationship called is a relationship here, meaning that I can say that dog is an animal, right? Dog is an animal, cat is an animal, and tiger is an animal, and horse, and also they got is a relationship. So you're making an hierarchical relationship, and also it's good for grouping all the related classes actually. So that is another advantage of using inheritance and all. Okay, but today we'll be talking about the second advantage of using inheritance. The second advantage of using inheritance is it supports polymorphism. It supports polymorphism. So for polymorphismic purpose, we use inheritance. So let us talk about what is mean by polymorphism actually. Okay, so basically, to explain your polymorphism, I would like to tell you there are two types of polymorphism. Okay, one is called static polymorphism, the other one is called dynamic polymorphism. Okay, so we'll talk about what is that polymorphism actually, and then we'll get back and implement some problems on polymorphism, and followed by one more important concept. Okay, so meantime, if anybody having any question regarding our last, like whatever we discussed till now, can please ask. Then I would like to talk about polymorphism now. So we covered few things, right? We covered a few things here. Like we started discussing this principles of object-oriented programming, or the object-oriented programming concepts. We started discussing. We covered encapsulation. We covered inheritance. Actually, it's supposed to cover polymorphism before that. But anyhow, because polymorphism is need to be understood after inheritance, so we are covering now, and we will also talk about what is abstraction, because we already achieved abstraction, but we'll talk about what is the difference between encapsulation and abstraction. Let us talk about polymorphism. Already we've seen what is encapsulation, okay, and how we encapsulate and how we protect our data using class and object. We already talked about it. Yeah, polymorphism means many forms. That's true. Okay, but let us go and implement them. What exactly the polymorphism is? So actually, the definition of polymorphism, as per the dictionary, is the occurrence of something in a different form. In particular, is generally called it as polymorphism. As Ubul says, that actually in general, polymorphism means many forms actually. So the occurrence of something in a different form or in many form is generally called it as a polymorphism. As per biology, the polymorphism is nothing but the exhibiting different forms of species. Like poly means actually many. That's what. Actually, polymorphism is a Greek word. It says poly means many and morphism means forms. Forms. So that's what in English it's translated as many forms. But the same principle applicable in object-oriented programming, where the object at runtime decides what behavior will be invoked. So that is why it's called it as an polymorphism in object-oriented programming. Let us go further in detail and try to understand what is polymorphism. I told you polymorphism is derived from two Greek words, poly and morphism. The word poly means many and morphism means forms. So polymorphism basically called many forms actually in short. Polymorphism is one of the major building block of object-oriented programming along with inheritance, abstraction, and encapsulation. But let us try to understand with an example now what is meant by polymorphism. As you see in the diagram, okay, where I'm trying to explain you what is polymorphism. Like you go for shopping, right? You go for shopping, and okay, you go for shopping, and suppose you're done with shopping you just go for bill payment? Yeah, Rajshekhar is helping us like in chemistry, carbon and graphite and diamond can be example of polymorphism. Of course, David, like a lot of examples where we see polymorphic way in real time. That's what I wanted to, we wanted to discuss. Like object oriented is like where we see all these concepts in our real time as well. Okay, so if you see this example here, once you're done with the shopping, you go for the billing now. So when you go for the billing, obviously the question the person asks you is it a cash payment or a card payment? So because if they say cash payment, okay, what they will do is they click on like for example they have an application, they click on pay button. Okay, so they click on pay, and when they pass that parameter of cash, and automatically the function gets called or the method gets called payment. And in that payment they have written the formula like total amount is equal to purchase amount plus whatever the GST now, okay, will be added, and the tax will be added, whatever the tax will be, and you will be getting the total amount to be paid. But if you say a card, then parameter will be passed as a card, then the function will be invoked. The function name will be payment again, but the formula is different. So it seems like the both payments look same for you, but if you think like a programmatic point of view, there are two different functions getting invoked. So both the functions having the same name here, both the functions having the same name here. So if you define a function here, like for example, I define a function here called payment. Okay, I define a function here called payment. Okay, a payment where I'm adding this amount, and also here also I will define a function called payment here. The name of the function is both in same in both the cases, but the parameter is different. The type is different here. If the type is the cash, okay, then this particular things get invoked. If the type is okay card, then this particular method will get invoked. So you can see here I'm having two functions with the same name. I'm having two functions with the same name, but implementation is different actually. Here I'm having a formula different for this payment for program, and this payment is a different example. So that's way you will see the different implementation for the same function called payment here now. So this concept is called uh, polymorphism actually. This concept is called polymorphism. Like if I take an example of Java, like as you already, some of you told that you're familiar with Java. So if I take an example of Java here, I hope everybody is familiar with one of the method called println method. Okay, not only Java, in C++ and all the way, like these methods are actually, if you see println method, you know what happens when I do this hello here, guys? Anybody? Println or print, whatever Aditi, println and hello. So what do you think the output will be? What do you think the output of this method? So generally we will call system.out.println. Okay, Vamshi thinks the output will be hello. Very good. Okay, what if I write println and if I write 2? Is it a valid statement now? Is it a valid statement in Java? Even though you don't know Java, still you can answer because this is look something similar to what you see in Python as well. Okay, so Nitin, Aditi, Vamshi, the all things is not valid, we'll get an error. Okay, good. But why we will get an error? Why we will get an error? Why we will get an error? Not defined type. Okay, data type should be defined. Okay, fine. Which data type you're talking about? Like you think there's a problem with println, or you cannot pass the value directly like this? Where is the problem? Is a problem with println or with the problem with you or your code? That is my intention. Okay, output may be an error or something, may not be possible. But what is wrong here now? It's all wrong. It prints only string. Okay, anything thinks it's value not declared. Okay, but it's a constant. That's what I wanted to tell you. It's not about the variable here because you can just use constants, right? Okay, you cannot pass it directly. Okay, okay. Actually, both are perfectly valid. Both are perfectly valid. There is no issue at all. I can also say println 3.14. This is again a valid statement. And again, I can say println as true it will be again a valid statement. So all these are the valid statements in Python. Sorry, in Java. Sorry, it is all valid statement in Java. How or why it will be a valid statement in Java? Because of the concept of polymorphism. Okay, because of the concept of polymorphism. I have to take an example of Java to explain you polymorphism, because this type of polymorphism at least is not acceptable in Python. We already know about it, but we will discuss. That's why I'm taking an example of Java to explain you rather than going for Python, because obviously Python do not have this method polymorphism, so I cannot take any real-time example to show you what is polymorphism actually. So that's why I'm taking an example of Java to make you understand. Even the people don't know Java, they can understand what is exactly polymorphism. Because my intention is to teach you polymorphism, not Java here. So you need to understand like what is happening here now. Actually, if you see, if you think like that's what like that's why I can see that you all said no, because it was on your side it is correct, because you may be thinking there is only one println statement, but Java says that I have around many println statements available. Java says that we have many println statements available. On your side, being a user, you don't know that. Being a user, you don't know. You always think that there is only one println statement in Java, but actually you have multiple println statements in Java. Okay, something similar. I took an example here now. Something similar. I took an example here where I told you like there are two different payment method, but for the user, he thinks that there's only one payment method. You don't know what is the logic inside written it. That's also called as abstraction, guys. That's also called as abstraction. So basically what is meant by abstraction? Abstraction is details will be hidden from the user. Details will be hidden from the user. That is basically called it as an abstraction here, because details will be hidden from user now. User don't know what is the implementation for these methods and all. Okay, these all will be hidden from user. Like for example, if you go to any shopping mall and wanted to purchase a television, the person will show you the details of television, like what is the quality, okay, what are the pixels, what are the price, the size of the television and all. They don't explain you like what are the different capacitors they have, what are the transistors they have, how the connections has been connected and everything. So these details are not to be explained, because that is abstracted. User will know only those details what he need to know. He don't have to know each and every detail. Okay, so that's way. There are other examples I will teach you to explain abstraction, but this is what I wanted to talk about abstraction now. So if I wanted to prove you like Java has many println methods, so Java has a println method which takes string as an argument. So I can show you that Java has a println method which takes string as an argument. Java has a println method which takes integer as an argument. Java has a println method which takes a float as an argument. Java has a println method which takes boolean as an argument. So it can take all data types, actually all 8 data types including string. So there are many methods available. That is called polymorphism. Polymorphism means having one method with the same name with all the way. If they give different name methods, for example, if there is no polymorphism supported in Java, then they might be using different names: print string, print integer, print float, okay, print boolean. So they will be having different names. And for just printing, you have to remember around 9 to 10 functions or method names just to print the value. You have to remember that many names, which is not acceptable. Which is not acceptable. Let me prove you. Let me prove you here. I'll go for the command prompt. I'll go for the command prompt. I will try to use this java p. This is how I can print the content of the class. I can say java.io. There is a class called print stream. There's a class called print stream in Java, which have all these methods like println method and all. When I write this code just to prove you what I said is correct, you can see here there are a lot of println methods. Can you see here? There are a lot of println methods. Okay, from here I can show you. There are a lot of println methods. You have println method for boolean, println method for character, println method for integer, println method for long, println method for float, double, character array, string, object, and other also. Even you have printf method available in Java, as you can see. Okay, even you have print f method available in Java. So you can see there are a lot of println methods available. There are a lot of println methods available here. Don't you think it's called polymorphism in Java? I hope you all got clarity now what is meant by polymorphism. Okay, thank you, Nitin. Any questions, please ask me. If people don't know about Java, don't worry. I just wanted to show you like what is meant by polymorphism. So using plus operator, we can add two numbers and concatenate. That's okay. That's all about concatenation, Ubul. Okay. Yeah, like it's called polymorphism. That's true, Ubul. That is called operator overloading actually. Okay, it's a good example that plus is overloaded. It's polymorphic in nature. Thank you, Ubul, for your your example. But how methods or functions of name with same name not good? Uh, Actually, in Python, you're asking, Satyam? You're asking in Python why it is not good? Okay, actually, because Python says that I already, no need for polymorphism because Python has something called default argument and vararg. Python says that why you will take because I'm not independent of data type first of all. And also I do support variable length argument. So if you want two parameter method or one parameter method, you always take help of me. So I don't need any method overloading or function overloading. I hope you remember I already talked about function overloading, especially when I talk about vararg. I think same I had in my this script as well. When I was teaching you that vararg, I told you this all concepts actually. When I was teaching you vararg, I told you like I don't have to have many additions. Yes, in Java, C Sharp, and C++, it is possible. Called method overloading and function overloading, it is possible. Okay, so it is possible in. Okay, that's true, right? I hope you remember, Satyam. Roshan, we just started. Okay, we haven't discussed much. We were discussing about polymorphism actually. Okay, so we just talked about like what is polymorphism. Okay, a couple of definitions we seen about polymorphism. Like polymorphism is derived from two Greek words, poly and morphism. Poly means many and morphism means forms, right? So polymorphism is actually having many forms actually. Okay, so that's what I told you why Python does not support polymorphism. Why Python does not support? Yeah, it's there actually, but not with inheritance. We can use it. We can use with inheritance actually. So general polymorphism, like there are two types of polymorphism. Where, like for example, I'll explain you the example of polymorphism here, and you'll understand why we cannot have a polymorphism actually. Okay, yeah, welcome Roshan. So let me explain you. You can understand this example, guys. Okay, for example, I'll be creating a class called average. I will be creating a class called average now. Okay, average is a class. Now I wanted to have a method called avg. I want to have a method called avg where I will be taking I'll be taking two variables here, a comma b, where I will be finding the average of two values. So I will say, okay, return me the average of two numbers like a plus b divided by 2. A plus b divided by 2. You please return the average of it. Simple class. I just want to find the average now. So I will say in object oriented style actually, right? I can create an object like, for example, x is equal to average. This is how we create a the object, right? X is equal to average. Now I will say print me, okay, x dot average. Print me x dot avg. That way I can call the method, right? And pass two parameters like 2 comma 3. So that will return me and print me. So this can be implemented in functional way, object oriented way. Class average not return average. Class will never return anything. Class will never return anything. The methods will return. Okay, class only contains attributes and methods will return the value, not the class. So let me check, am I printing anything? So I will just remove this at least. I will not print it so that I can see the program working for average. It's takes two positional argument, but 3 were given. Oh, You know what is a mistake? I forgot to write self, right? You know that you have to write self. So that's what the common important thing you always need to understand in object oriented. Now you can see it's perfectly printing for 2.5, perfectly printing. We know that this function or method can only find the average of two numbers. Like what if I want to find the average of three numbers? Can I have AVG again with three more parameters like A comma B comma C? Can I have AVG with more parameters here? Then I say return A plus B plus C, okay, divided by 3. Will it work now? If I say 2 comma 3 comma 4, yes, right. It will work now. It will find the average of this 3, which will be 3.0. Okay, 2, 3, 4. 2 plus 3 plus 4 will give you divided by 3, which is this thing. So this is generally called as overloading. This is called as overloading. It is working. But now you already know that when I just call with two parameters, now it will be given an error. It will be given giving an error because you cannot have two methods in Java with same name. So this way I can prove that there is no method overloading. Actually, this is a correct example for method overloading, but it is not possible. It is not possible to have this kind of thing because we already know that if we give the same name, it overwrites the previous one. It overrides the previous one, so previous one is gone. And because you know that it's a reference and it's referring to the method object and then class object, and there is no it overrides the method. So because of this mutability and all, this is kind of problem you will find in Python actually. So that's why more. These are the all reasons why Python do not support. Because Python says that if you wanted to do this, why don't you go for vararg now? I take vararg here, call A, and then find the sum of all these things. Find the sum. S is equal to 0, and say for every I value in sum, for every I value in A, you add them. S plus is equal to I. You add all of them, and whatever you got the sum, whatever you got in sum, divide with the length of A. Length of A, perfectly fine. Now I can work this for anything. I can for this kind of problems I can easily solve it. It's giving me 2.5 now. I can pass 6, 7, 8 and all many arguments as I want. So that way Python has this kind of solutions, a beautiful solutions. So Python says that I don't require of overloading these methods. I don't require the overloading of these methods. Understood everyone? I hope you all got it, like why we don't require method overloading. But let me explain you the other way of polymorphism. Let me explain you another way of polymorphism. Okay, other way of polymorphism. Okay, so for example, I need to take a silly example, but I think it's a good example to explain you what is meant by polymorphism. Okay, I think it's a good example to explain you the polymorphism. For example, I have a class called parent. I have a class called parent, okay, and it has some method. Let's say m, some method, okay, some method which does not take any parameter. Now I will print something called xyz. Xyz. For more clarity, I will name this method as, okay, okay, let it be m. Okay, not a problem. So class parent define m and it's printing xyz. Okay, printing xyz. Now, for example, you have a class called child. You have a class called child now. You have a class called child and you want to inherit this parent. Then obviously you will be writing parent. Okay, you will be writing parent. And here, now tell me what to write inside child. Yeah, we need to write self. Thank you every time. Okay, thank you, Abhishek. So that's what we are forgetting. So we should not. That's what the problem with Python when you move from functional programming to object oriented to procedural. This things happens, guys. Okay, so this thing happens that we'll mix up the things. Okay, so that's what it is. Advantages as well as learning different paradigms can be challenging as well sometimes. Okay. Okay, now tell me what should I write inside the child class? What should I write inside the child class now? I wanted to use this method actually. And for more clarity, suppose this is my parent class. Okay, it has other methods also. Like for example, it has method like parent has method like property. Okay, he has a method like property which taking self as a parameter. Okay, and it will give you the property. For example, I will just write something like okay, two okay, I just print 2 million, okay, dollar something. $2 million is a property. So we have a couple of methods in the parent class like method m and the property method and everything. So we, you know that when you inherit parent class, everything will get inherited, and child can have their own properties and methods, whatever you want. Okay, so I'm actually interested in this method called m method, which stands for marriage actually. M stands for marriage here. So what actually they're doing is they have the parent will be deciding, okay, you will be marrying to XYZ and you'll be getting all the properties of the parent will be inherited to you now, whatever the other methodologies they will have, like property, everything, okay, house and everything, whatever they have will get inherited, will get inherited. So, like for example, I will to explain you, I will simply write pass here, no problem. I don't want to define anything, or a child may have extra thing. Right now, he wanted to use these two methods now. Now, if I make a child class object, if I make a child class object, okay, now can I call c dot m? Will it work? C dot m, and also can call c dot property, c dot property. Yes, right. It can call because it's not defined inside child, but as I am inherited from the parents, so both the methods are inherited now. Both the methods are inherited. So when I go here and run the code, okay, it's printing me XYZ and $2 million, right? So that's perfectly printing me because child can use both of them now. Pass actually it's one of the very important statements because in indentation, Udit, we cannot leave any function or any method or any class empty. Pass means do not do anything, do nothing. Okay, that's what means by pass. Because in other languages, you can have class empty, you can have functions empty because they can have opening and closing parentheses. As a construct is very little different, so Python has introduced this keyword called pass just to say that pass out, like nothing inside. Okay, so that's what we use this pass actually for writing nothing actually. Did you got it? Okay, okay. Now my question is like, can I write this m method once again inside my child class? My question is, can I write this marriage method once again inside my child class? Okay, Adi things no. Ubul thinks yes. Why no? Why yes, guys? If you think no, can you please tell me why no? Or if you think yes, then why yes? Okay. Okay, Aditya thinks overloading will take care. David thinks that it gives an error. It will overwrite. Okay, Abhishek thinks it will overwrite. Okay, but actually my question is, if like property, imagine already a parent has $2 million of your property. That child has to add his own property here, or he will use this property whatever inherited from the parent. You will use it, right? You will use the same property. So you'll not be defining it. Okay, but always remember, whenever you inherit a child a parent class into a child class, the parent may have many methods, like even in our subscriber class. Okay, the subscriber class, if you see, it has many methods like make call, receive call, info method. Uh, you see that make call and receive call, I did not write it again. I simply wrote send SMS and receive SMS. I simply wrote send SMS and receive SMS. Why I did not write make call and receive call? It is already available. That's what the beauty of inheritance, right? That the methods, whatever I define in the parent class, it is already available. Why I will define it again? I will not define it again. Okay, that's what the beauty of inheritance, that I will not define these methods again. I will not define these methods again in my parent child class. Following everyone? Both the concepts what we have is simple but little tricky. If you can follow up the examples, I think that you can catch up the things very easily. Okay, so that we can conclude what I mean to say, this thing, object oriented programming today. Okay, perfect. So that's what my question again. Like, why should I write M method again? It's already available in parent. Should I need to write it again now? It's already available in parent. Should I need to write it again? Yes, that's true, Satyam. Inheritance available, so that's why no need of polymorphism. Okay, so Aditi also thinks that it's not needed. Okay, but I will explain that like what happens now. For example, there's a class called subscriber, and we know that this is for landline phone where you can make call and you can receive call. That's what the two properties or two functionalities you can make use of. Now, when you created a wireless subscriber, you are using the services. But soon you realize that the make call here, the logic, whatever we have written in the make call, is just to print, just to making call to the person. But in the WLS, I wanted to add new features to this make call. I wanted to add new features to the make call. Like I can also add some video calling and all. So if you wanted to add that new features to it, then you have to rewrite that code in WLS also, because you cannot go to the parent and change the logic there. You have to rewrite that code in the child class as well. Agree with me? Aditi, Satyam, Ubul, like though, like I think Ubul said yes, but let me check like who said no. Like now you need to understand that this can be one of the, like I can write it again now. I can write it again. Like in this example, the parent has decided that so and so person will marry to XYZ. But always you will have a choice that you can override this method. Okay, you can override the same method and say that no, I wanted to marry with ABC. Right? So that is always, so whenever you are inheriting, the child class has an option that he can override the method and change the implementation or add new functionalities to that implementation. Now, what do you think when I say C.M? Will it print ABC or will it print XYZ? Will it print ABC or XYZ? ABC, very good. It will print ABC. Properties it inherited, but he will say, no, I will, M1 will be printed as ABC. Okay, but does not affect to the parent class. Parent class M method will remain same. If you make an object of parent class now, the M method will remain same, no problem at all. If further, if you make the object of parent class P parent, okay, and say for example I have C dot, sorry, P dot M. If I say P dot M, it will still print, okay, it will print that XYZ only. It will print XYZ. It will not get changed. And this concept is called polymorphism, but it is with inheritance only. That's what I told you, that polymorphism is available in Python, but not directly, but with inheritance, you can use polymorphism. So polymorphism in Python is not full supported, right? Yes, that's why Python is not claimed as fully object-oriented language. Okay. So I hope you all got it now. We do have polymorphism in Python, okay, but not directly with inheritance. I can use polymorphism. And this concept in other languages, they generally call it as method overriding. This concept in other languages are called method overriding. So in short, I can tell you, when you compare Java with C and Java with Python and all, you can see there is no method overloading, but there is method overriding in Python. There is no method overloading, there is a method overriding, because in other languages polymorphism is generally supported in two ways: method overloading and method overriding. But Python supports only method overriding, not method overloading. I hope you got this problem. Okay, thank you Satyam for confirming. Thank you Aditi for confirming. Let me check with others. Okay, thank you Ubul. Okay, thank you everyone. Yeah, Rajshekar, I will repeat once again. Okay, like I was taking the example here, like here, if for example, you took an example like subscriber. Subscriber will define a method called make call. Generally in inheritance, you will not write that method again. Okay, when you will not write the method again if you okay with the implementation. Like for example, okay, we parent class has two method, marriage method and property method, and child class inherits parent, so they will get these two methods, meaning they have to follow these two methods rule, that they have to marry with xyz, and also they'll get property whatever they will have. So these are the two things. But whenever we inherit the child class will always have an option whether to use the same method implementation, or they can change the method implementation actually. So actually here they are changing the method implementation because they are not like the implementation of method. Meaning in short, method overriding or method polymorphism in Python means if you inherit the parent class and if you do not like the implementation of any of the method, so instead of using the same method, you can redefine that method, and redefining the method in the child class is called method overriding. I hope it's clear, David, now. So whenever you are inheriting a class, then always you have an option to rewrite that method. Okay, thank you. Okay, so this is generally called as method overriding and polymorphism. Okay, method overriding and polymorphism. Okay, now let's go for the next topic and explain you one of this scenario. Yes, Satyam, yes, you can directly term as overriding, but the question will be, does Python supports polymorphism? Your actual answer is yes. It does. This supports polymorphism. Then you can tell them it does not support method overloading, but it supports method overriding. Okay. Yes, partially it does. That's true. Partially it does, not fully. Okay. So because we know the reasons why it does not support and all, we know the reasons. Okay. Understood all? Can we go for next topic now? Okay, good. Now, listen this example again and try to answer my question. For example, I will be defining a class called animal now. I will be defining a class here called animal. Okay, so can you tell me what are the methods I can define inside the animal? What are the methods I can define inside the animal? Go on, it's quite interesting example. For next 15 minutes, we'll discuss and we will wind up the concept. What are the methods, I mean to say? What are the methods you can write inside the animal class? What is the behavior of the animal? Okay, okay, fine. So we took this example before, right? So we can have methods like eat, sleep, okay? So run, all these are methods available. Very good. Okay, David. So we can define those methods now. We can define those methods here. So I can go here and define a method. Like I can define a method called sound. I can define a method called sound, which takes self as a parameter. Now tell me a question to all of you. What is the sound of the animal? What should I print now? What is the sound of the animal? What is the sound of the animal? Bark? Roar? Yeah, depends on animal. So I will define some classes like cat, dog, and all. No worry. I'm making the child classes for this animal. But that is true with cat will have his own sound and dog will have his own sound. But what about the sound here now? What should I write here? That's my question. Yeah, that's true, guys. Depends on animal. So if I define, for example, if I define a class here now, suppose I write another class called cat. I say cat here now, and I will inherit animal. I will inherit animal. Now what I will do is I will override this method now. I will override the method here. I will override the method and I will write the thing like I will say sound, which takes self as a parameter again, and again I will define here, I will say the sound of the animal, sorry, sound of the cat. I hope it spells correct. So this is the sound of the cat, similarly for dog and similarly for other thing. But my question is, what should I write here? So do you see that this is called method overriding? I already have a sound method in the animal. I'm rewriting that again in the cat and dog and everywhere. Okay, so this is the same concept what we learn called method overriding. Okay, very good, very good. So that's what Abhishek says. Don't write anything, just say pass. Agree with Abhishek? Don't write anything, just say pass. So I think Nitin agree with Abhishek, Aditi, Satyam, everybody agree with Abhishek because that's true that animal will not have sound. When we move upward in the inheritance, the top level class becomes so generic that they cannot have implementation. They cannot have implementation. Okay, I will, sir, can we pass in parent class? Of course, Aditi. You can write pass in parent class also. It's just a method. Okay, for example, I will give you one more example now. I'll give you one more example. For example, I have a class called shape. I have a class called shape. Now I wanted to define a method called area. I wanted to define a method called area, okay, and which takes radius as a parameter. Now tell me what is the area of shape? What is the area of shape? Anybody? What is area of shape? Not known. Good, right? Not known. The other like rectangle, triangle, they will have the area, but parent class has no formula for area. So, right, that's what I wanted to say you. In that case, you will write pass. In that case, you will write pass. Okay, so good. Let me go here and implement this and show you with our animal example. So I'm going to remove this all. Let it be classes present, no problem. Okay, now I will define a class called animal. A class called animal. A class called animal, which has a method like sound, which takes self as a parameter, and I don't have any body, so I will write pass. Now I will say class called cat, which inherits animal now, which inherits animal, and then inside that I will define the method again called sound, and this time, suppose if I do not define anything, I simply say pass. Can I create an object of cat now? C is equal to cat. C is equal to cat and call C dot sound. What will be the output, guys? What will be the output in this case? I did not define the cat. Nothing, right? It's empty. Nothing gets printed. Perfect. Perfect. So I'll run the code now and you see that no error, nothing, nothing will be printed now. Empty, nothing. Because it has no method now. Now, but that's not the good thing, right? I will define it because cat do have sound. So I will override that method because the parent class did not provide the implementation. So I will provide the implementation. Understood, everyone? The parent class did not provide the implementation. Now is the child class responsibility that it should provide implementation. It should provide implementation. Now we will take self as a parameter, and here I can write print. I can write the sound of it now. Okay, I can write the sound of that one. Now it will work and get you the sound. It will get you the sound as well. Similarly, I will have a method called def called eat method. I will have a method called eat method now. What animal eat? What animal eat? Very good. Okay, food, but which one? Which food? Yeah, right. So I can say pass now, nothing. Now I can define cat now because I know what cat eats, right? So I can go here. Yeah, that's what, same example. So I can define eat here and I can write self. Okay, I can say self and I can print. Okay, yeah, kind of thing. So let's say fish. Okay, or I can say cat eats fish. Okay, that's perfect. Now I can see, I can call a cat, I can say cat meows, okay, and cat eats fish. So that way perfectly fine. I can say eat here and then you can see here now it gets printed. So run the module and see it's perfectly working. Yeah, that's also correct with it. Now, can I define the same like dog class now? Can I have a dog class here? Right. I can have a class called dog, which also have their own methods like sound. I can say dog, the implementation will change obviously. Okay, dog, and I can say barks. Okay, and I can say dog eats. Okay, yeah, that's what good question from Shikawat. I was expecting such kind of questions now. I think I can say bones, I hope. Okay, that's perfect. So let's run the code now and see that if I make an object of dog now, only I change the constructor here. I call the dog and it says that dog barks. Oh, it spells wrong, but it's fine. Okay, barks and this. But again, when we call 3 the same method, will it overwrite again? I didn't get you, Aditi, your question. Which doubt, Abhishek, you're talking about? No, independently you can call them. Now, animal is an independent class, cat is an independent class, dog is an independent class. For inheritance, we are using animal. Very good, Udit. Thank you. But anyhow, I will like to answer that. That's what. Then some same question I will ask you guys here now. Okay, what is the use of animal class here? It's making a relationship, right? Okay, so that's what dog is an animal. Okay, for explaining that, I will show you one more scenario now. I will tell you one more scenario. For example, you have something like, yeah, something like university. University. Okay, university. And there are different colleges got inherited. Okay, different colleges got inherited like ABC college, XYZ college, PQR college. Okay, some colleges got inherited now from university, some university. Imagine this university is a kind of university which there is no the university actually like does not conduct classes, they don't have exam. Okay, but ABC inherits from the university, like you know that AICTE. I hope you heard about it. There is an organization called AICTE. Yes, right. So in colleges, they will write that affiliated to or something, they will write that to AICTE. So this is an organization actually. Okay, yeah, All Indian Technical Education and all. So it's a kind of organization, but there is no exams conducted. There is no students in that organization and all. No, no, it's not like that. But they don't have these kind of things. But they define the rules. When you affiliate to AICTE, it means you will be following the rules and regulations what they define. Got my point? So that's why if you see here, our class animal, that's what the question Shikawat and other got. What is the use of animal class? Because they don't have any methods. Yeah, they control the colleges. That's what Shikawat. This animal class will define. Otherwise, you know, cat will have different method name and dog will have different method name. So they keep changing the name. Now they must have the sound method only to override, because the rule of overriding is they will use the same method now. So everybody will have the same method called sound and eat method. They have to write it, but as the control by university, all the colleges, so animal will control the all of them. It's a parent class for all. Got the point, Shikawa? Like we can say animal is a class, or we create objects like, yes, of course. Yes, they will provide rules and regulations here. So sound and eat a rule. You will get some more examples, Satyam. Like you will understand more in detail when we go further. No, that's what Shikawat. I will prove that. That's what. Okay, so I hope that's one thing. Okay, you understood that and what is meant by like why I cannot implement them, why I'm writing pass. Everybody understood. Now, one thing I will tell you: can I make an object of animal now? Can I make an object of animal? Can I make an object of animal now? Yes. What will be the output now? What will be the output? Nothing. Nothing. Okay, it will be output nothing actually. Okay, do you think that is it a good approach? Is it a good approach? Actually, no, it's not a good approach, because I must get an error when I create an object, because it's containing nothing actually. And I should not call these all. I should not able to call this sound and eat method. And also, as I told you, like what is the use of animal class? I told you it's defining the rule. What is the rule it's defining? All the child classes who will inherit from animal, they must have sound and eat method. They must have sound and eat method. Suppose dog does not have an eat method now. Will I get any error? Will I get error now? Will I get error if dog has no eat method? It has only sleep method. Do I get error? No, I will not get error. It will perfectly run fine. It will perfectly run fine. But I actually, that's what not the correct, right? It has to follow the rule. It has to follow the rule that every animal who will inherit the animal class must follow the same things now. That's what I was telling you. No, Shikawat, try to understand what I mean to say, because that's why I told you these topics are little typical. If you understand the example, a lot of questions will get answered. And this was the expected questions from interviews also. Okay. Now, what Python says that whenever you come across this situation, whenever you come across this situation, do not write pass here actually. That's a wrong way to say. That's a wrong way to say pass. Such methods has to be declared as abstract. Such method should be declared as abstract and followed by class to be declared as abstract. Such classes is called abstract classes in Python. So what is meant by abstract classes? Abstract classes are the classes which has no methods, which has no implementation, which has no implementation. So Python says that do not write pass, declare the class as abstract and also declare the method as abstract. So I will take care that if any of the class does not override them or change the name, I will end up with an error. I will end up with an error now. Something like I took an example of you only told me Shikawat, like what is the use of this AICTE? Then you told me they define rules. If anybody don't not following the rules, then they are not called as affiliated. They will cancel the license. No, it's not like exception handling. They will cancel the license if they don't follow the rule. Agree, Shikawat? Yes, very good, Vamshi. It's like incomplete classes. Abstract classes called incomplete. They don't have body. They are incomplete. But the thing is, yes, that's true. There will be no technically teaching and everything, but they only define the rules. And these rules has to be implemented by the child classes. So that's what I'm saying. The animal class will only define the rules that there will be sound method and eat method. They will not actually implement. It's a responsibility of the child classes to implement. Now they affiliated to AICTE means they should implement the rules whatever the AICTE defines. That's why they come and they will check whether they are following the rules or not. If they're not following all these rules, they will cancel your license. Agree? Shikawat and Vamshi, you all agree now? Aditi means those people who have a doubt, and I hope Udit has already confirmed us that he's very clear with the topic. And anybody having any doubt, you can ask me. Now you will get more satisfied when you see an example now. So let's see how to do that. So I'll not be passing anything now. No say pass, nothing. No pass. Okay, or we will have pass at least. We will have pass, but we will get error if you try to call. I wanted to get an error if I call this with animal. That's what we want. I wanted to get an error. If I call with animal, I must get an error. Rules change in my hand means depends user do not react. Yeah. Okay. I will explain you, Aditi. I will explain you, but let me explain you how to overwrite this particular thing. How to make this an abstract class. To make from abstract, you will be using, okay? You will be using something like from ABC, from ABC. I will say import ABC abstract. So this is a predefined abstract class called ABC meta, ABC meta. And also there is something called abstract method, abstract method. So these are the two things I will be thing now. Then I will inherit this from that class. which is meta class. I will write meta class is equal to ABC meta. So I'm inheriting from this class now, ABC meta. So that way what happens now, I'm saying I'm making it as abstract class now. And both the methods I'm depending on, I'm making it as abstract. This is how you will make the abstract class an abstract, something different from other programming languages. Even Java has these all abstract method, abstract class and everything. Okay, so I will define both the methods as abstract. I will define both the methods as an abstract. Now you see the changes. See the changes now. First change here is it's getting that abstract method is not defined. Oh, it spells maybe wrong. Yes, a kind of injection. That's true. Abs, I think spelling wrong. Okay, I will write it abstract method. Okay, the spell's wrong. Now abstract method. Now let's run the code and you see we'll get a different error this time. You see, cannot instantiate abstract class animal was abstract with eat method and sound method. So meaning you cannot make an object of animal class now. Is it making sense? Like AICT cannot have teaching now because there are rules, only rules. Understood? Okay, now another thing, as dog did not implement eat method now, dog did not implement an eat method, or dog will have something called, instead of sound, they will have other name like shout, some name they have given. Okay, some name they have given shout and they're trying to call shout. Okay, you will get an error now. Yeah, thank you, Satyam. So now you will get an error that dog does not have the sound and eat method. Now the rule for cat and dog is they must override this method. I hope Aditi you will follow now. The rule here now that if we are inheriting the animal class, then both the method has to be overridden now, compulsory. Okay, both the method has to be overridden. Now you see it says that cannot instantiate abstract class animal. Okay, I'm still doing that. Now, okay, I need to change it to dog. I need to change it to dog now. Now you see different error now. You'll see a different error here. Now let me run the code. Let me run the code. Now you get it. Cannot instantiate abstract class called dog with abstract method eat and sleep. So dog did not override any of the method. So getting an error now. I'm getting an error. For example, dog will have eat method, no doubt. Dog will have eat method now. Okay, like dog eats something. Okay, dog eats bone something. Okay, bones. But instead of sound method, I have to have a shout method. I cannot have it. I cannot have it. Now you'll see this time you will get a different error. Only about sound method you will get now. You see, previously I'm getting eat and sound method, but this time you're saying sound method because eat method has been overridden. I hope everybody is following up now. What is meant by abstract class and what is the rule? Why we are defining this animal class now? No, order of the class method does not matter. Order of the method does not matter. Now, if we have a sound method, it will perfectly work now. It will perfectly work. Okay. Dog has no attribute. What it says? Okay, let me run again. Oh, I'm calling with shout now, which is wrong. I should call sound method and eat method. No problem. No problem. Okay. Now I will run the code. It perfectly works. Dog barks and dog eats. Perfect. I can make an object of cat class, dog class, but I cannot make an object of animal class. Agree? Yeah, I will show you the output of both class and dog. So I'll make it as D now for dog. Okay. Now I will print a line separator so that you can see a difference. Multiply with 34 times or whatever. Sorry. So I will say C is equal to cat. They are independent method, independent things, Aditi. So I can have sound method, okay, and I can have C dot eat method. Perfectly fine. Now I'll run the code, so it's going to print you for both. Dog barks, dog eat bones. cat meows and then cat eats fish. Perfect, right? So it's perfectly printing both. But when I try to make an object of animal class, I will be getting an error because it becomes an abstract class now. Abstract class means incomplete class. And for making an object of incomplete class makes no sense because I should not call sound and eat method for animal class now. Yes, that's true. Okay. So this is all from object-oriented programming. Okay. So I hope if you like this style of programming. Yeah. Thank you, Vishwajit. Let me check with Shikawat and Santosh and others. Yeah. Thank you, David. Yeah. Thank you, Bull. Thank you, Nitin. Okay, so little revision and research is required. You need to do some research on this concept, so you'll get more clarity and can take some more examples on that. Because I told you they are subject in itself, so your research is needed if you like it. If you don't like it, if you think that it may not be useful for you in your later things, because you know, like why you're learning Python, you might have taken already a decision. Okay, no problem, no problem. Okay, so if you're starting things is okay, but this is all we have discussed. So this is all for today. As I texted you, like I have some work, like I have another session now, so I have to take a leave early. But tomorrow, always follow all the methods of parent or child. Whatever the abstract, Satyam, whatever the methods you declare are abstract, it is mandatory that you should override them. It's mandatory that you should override them. Otherwise, that class also should be declared as abstract if you're not overriding. Okay? Okay, that's what. Thank you. Yeah, all our methods should be override. Yes, that's what we did. Whenever you're injecting that annotation you're using and telling that it's an abstract method. Yeah, have a nice day, Vishwajit. Thank you. Okay, thank you, Aditi. Have a nice day. Bye, Vishwajit. Yeah, thank you, Shikawat. Okay, just revise this concept, guys, object-oriented concept. It will be very useful. Not exactly. This concept is called abstraction. Abstraction is just a concept, Satyam. Abstraction means hiding the implementation, but this is not hiding the implementation. It's different because abstraction has a different meaning actually. Abstract is different and abstraction is different. So this is not called abstract actually. Okay. So this is not called abstraction. Sorry. Okay. Thank you, Nitin. Have a nice day. Thank you all. We'll take a leave now. We'll see you tomorrow.